or get some writing in today. A lot of writing in today. They're writing the right stuff. Oh, I forgot it. I want to remind everybody to subscribe or resubscribe, and also to follow me on YouTube. Building building that up, and having fun with it so far. Bit rate's a little wonky, and hopefully everybody is good. It is Friday. You know what they say. Friday is the day after Thursday. That's what they say. They say that a lot. Sometimes the words flow. Sometimes her name isn't Flo. Sometimes feel like a nut. Sometimes, not so much. So I've already knocked off 500 words on this today. So let's get down to the next page. Got about 300 more words on this. Excuse me. Wow, that was gross. On this chapter. I had chunky soup for lunch. It's really good. Where is everybody? Hey.
I'm gonna leave her here
Okay.
because it's already after 1. I'm
Yep.
going to work. I'm hopefully gonna get out of there.
Hey, Nick.
Oh, sorry, at 4:30 and come home.
That's fine.
So I'm just gonna leave her. I just changed.
Yeah, she went. She laid down and went right to sleep when
Yeah.
he left anyway.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna leave her here.
We don't have. I ate the black beans
Okay.
the other day, so we just have chicken, which I took out. We have the nacho chips, and we have cheese. I don't know if you want anything else.
Yeah, I'll stop and get some, maybe some black beans and some sour cream and stuff. But I'm gonna try to leave work at 4:30. So let me go.
Get a thing of rice too, if you can.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good day.
Bye, baby. I'll be back.
Next page, Nick's in. Next page. Oh, I turned the fan on. It's fucking hot. 91 degrees out here, and sunny in Jacksonville, Florida. Nick, I'm sure it's 91 degrees there as well. Mr. Frank in the house, also 91 degrees. Like, where's everybody been? I've been on for 15 minutes. Whew. 82 here. That's nice. Just finished unloading 5,000 gallons of phosphoric acid. You know what? Somebody's got a party. Which is weird because phosphoric acid was my nickname in high school. I was on but took a shower. The less said the better about that. You were scrubbing yourself. We need to see some video. I'm actually in a very, I woke up in a very bad mood today. I'm sending it to Nicholas in Milwaukee, something about melting steel to find trying to get that does make sense. He's gonna dump it all over all of the statues and the playground, everything in that park, until he finds the friggin' treasure. Or destroys it, either way. I woke up in a bad mood. I had weird dreams last night. You ever have just like you don't even remember the dreams, but you just know they were shitty dreams. And then I woke up this morning and I was just like in a daze out of it. I ate too much yesterday, way too much yesterday. You know what? If it sometimes is like maybe if I was on meth, I would feel better. I don't know. I feel like garbage. If I wake up in the morning, I feel like I have a hangover, and I haven't had alcohol in, almost a year, maybe, or less, or more, either one. If I use the steel, it would naturally pull up all valuables. At least that's what the Reddit page said. Well, you gotta go by the Reddit people. They know more than anybody. I did my coffee thing. Like usually, I try to get it between 8:15 8:30. It was almost 10 o'clock. I got that one done. I'm just like not feeling it. But then Tom Duffy. I don't know if Tom Duffy is on. Tom wrote the first chapter of our next trilogy. He wrote that yesterday and sent it to me. And then I was just in a mood and I was like, I'll get to it. And then this morning I was like, I don't want to write. I don't want to do anything. I'm like, you know what? Let me just read this. And then I read it and I wrote the second chapter of this first book, which I was happy with. And then now I'm writing this. I'm writing the zombie, Jacksonville, Florida zombie thing for Evil Cookie. So, new trilogy. Hi, I'm Tom with Bigfoot. Yes, that one. This is not a tie-in to the previous two, as well. It's more of a noir thriller. That's what was pitched to me. So we're gonna do a Raymond Chandler-esque. Except set now. I'm not going to use. Hey, see chums. I'm not going to do all that. Have you checked right field at American Family Field? I don't even know what the fuck that. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, what were those breakfast-looking snacks you picked up? I'm sure they were super hot and they taste disgusting. And Frank will say those weren't even hot. You'll find out soon enough. I have not, Frank. It was a parking lot back in 1981, since County Stadium was where the Brewers played across the highway. I like that stadium. Fucking huge parking lot. We stayed at some. When me and my dad went to Milwaukee, we stayed at some little crappy hotel. Then I think we had to walk over a bridge to get to. Or was that? No, we stayed at a place that was like 2 miles away, but we drove that one. Cincinnati, we walked over a bridge. Yeah, we parked. I'm like, we're like 100 miles away from the stadium. But then we ended up walking and seeing people, and good time was had by all. We were up in the nosebleed sections. We were like, like 5 rows up and to our right. We were like in left field. 5 rows up and to our right was the Bob Uecker statue. We were even. We were eye level with what's it, Billy Brewer. Anytime they hit a home run or something, he came down the slide. Yeah, we could see the beer. We were close enough to the beer side we can see. We could see all the setup and everything. It was a lot of fun. That was I think one of the better ballparks. Just the ease of getting in and out. Even though we had upstairs crappy seats, every seat was a good seat in that stadium. I'd go back. Yeah, Bernie Brewer. Oh, Billy Brewer is an actual ball player. I like how Nick subtly corrected me there. Appreciate it. I'd also like to watch a game next to the Rays at Tampa Bay Stadium Yards Park. Well, that isn't there anymore. they had to take all those Rays and put them over at the Tampa Zoo after the hurricane ripped the roof and everything off the place. And they don't have that at Steinbrenner Stadium. I like going to the Jaguars games because they have live Jaguars that they just wander the stadium and rip people apart. That's literally the only fun you have at the stadium. Otherwise, you get to watch a very, very shitty football team. I've yet to go to the new Yankee Stadium. Interesting. I've never been. I went to the old Yankee Stadium several times. I think I went to the new, whatever the Mets are calling Shea Stadium now. I think I went to the new one there, although maybe not. I don't know when did they? Because I came here in 2001. Let's look that shit up. It opened in 2009, so I definitely did not go to Citi Field. We went the last year we did did beers and fears with you guys. That we stayed in the Poconos. We got one of the ball players that used to live with us at the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp was pitching for the Pirates, and they were in Philadelphia, so we got to go there. And I had never been to that stadium. The new ballpark. I'd like to go to Pittsburgh. Everybody says that's a good stadium. I mean, the team is garbage, but it seems like a nice stadium. Who knows? Going to Yankee Stadium just was always a big pain in the ass. Parking is atrocious. People are awful. Pirates are talking about. I watched the thing this morning. They're Paul Skeens. They're the best pitcher they've had in 50 years. They're like, man, maybe we should trade him. We're not gonna win. Monacon is lining up at one of the biggest concerts ever coming to Milwaukee, which means what is some crappy Rockville type thing. It's funny. I always see these big festival concerts and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know any of these bands. You tell me the name of it, and I'll look it up. Toto? Are you kidding me? Not the original band, because I think a couple of those guys are dead now. Man at Work? No way. Isn't it just that one guy now? Dramatic pause. And. Christopher Cross. He's definitely dead. There's no way Christopher Cross. He's had so many hits in the last 40 years. They might be giants. They might be there. What VFW are they all playing at? I'd go see Shakira. That's what you're giving up? Seriously? We'll play some Toto while you're here. They probably need the money anyway. An amphitheater, wow. Christopher Cross will make you jump. I think both of those kids are dead, right? Aren't both of the Chris Cross, I guess, gentlemen? I guess they're not still boys. I'm gonna just be totally honest with you, Nick. That does not sound like a good time. At least one of them is. Yeah, let's look that up now too. Anything to keep me from writing. Chris Cross will make you wiggity whack. Hip hop duo. Chris Daddy Mac Smith and Chris Mac Daddy Kelly. 12 and 13 years old. Oh, Chris Kelly passed away in 2013. 34. Drug use. So I wonder if the other guy just became Chris or Cross. Too soon? Yep, Google time, bitches. Google time! Stop. Google time. Was that one of their songs? No. Tonight we're doing, I don't know if you were listening in the beginning there when my wife came into the room. Nope, I don't know who you are. But I've been doing much better with not answering the phone and screaming and yelling at people. It doesn't change. Like, they're like, oh, if you don't answer, they stop calling. No, they don't. They still call me 40 times a day. We're having nachos. Nacho cheese for dinner. I had to get a bag of nacho tortilla chips. But I'm like, hey, we don't have black beans or rice because I've eaten those items over the last couple of weeks. So we have chicken, cheese, and chips. The 3 C's. So hopefully she'll stop on her way home. She had to take her aunt to the doctor this morning. Now she's got to go to work and get work done. But she's like, I'm leaving the dog here. It's like 3 hours and I'm going to be home. I was like, not a problem. Proud of you. Thank you, Frank. This is why I do things. I do things to make you proud. And literally no one else. Everyone else, F you. What do I care about your damn opinions? But Mr. Frank, there you go. I want to remind everybody, Nachos Bel Grande. Yes. Yes. She's getting sour cream. I don't like sour cream. But we'll do, I cut up the chicken. Throw it with some taco seasoning. Not the packet, though. We buy the big thing so you can just dump it on. And then I'll probably do some onions for me. Not raw onions, though. I don't think raw onions. And then some cheese. You throw some cheese. Salsa. Got to do salsa. Now I got a peach salsa that I ate with my pierogies the other day, and I don't think I'm gonna eat because then the peach just takes over. So I'm gonna save those. I have another box of pierogies. Yeah, we got refried beans already. We're gonna have black beans. We're gonna have some Spanish rice or something rice. We'll throw on there some salsa. Yeah, stuff like that. So we're good. We're good. We're gonna have a gosh darn feast tonight. Today for lunch, I only had chunky soup. Right? Yeah, rice. Isn't that crazy? We buy like the Uncle Ben's Spanish rice. You put it in the microwave for like 60 seconds. Just dump it into a bowl, and we just generously scoop it all over the nachos. Now, here's the difference between me and my wife. I don't know how you do it. I'm going to tell you how I do it. I take a shitload of nacho chips and I put them on the plate and I spread them out. Okay? Then I take all of those ingredients and I throw them on top. And then I just eat them like that. My wife, however, puts all the ingredients in a bowl with the nacho chip bag, and then she just reaches in, takes a chip, and dips it in. I prefer to already have everything on the chips. What are you watching tonight? No idea. We're probably just going to watch the same crap we watch all the time. 60 Minutes on ID shows. There's a shitload of wrestling rivals and different things. Dark Side of Wrestling. We watched the... which one did we watch? Oh, we watched the original Sheik one. We watched the original Sheik one the same day that Sabu, his nephew, passed away. That's probably it. I'll say to my wife, "Oh, do you want to watch You?" And she'll say no. So what the F did my wife order now? Oh, I'm going to tell you what this is. This is probably water. She orders from Walmart, but they never have the water in stock. Like the Propel lemon water. They never have it in stock, so FedEx is now dropping it off, which I'll get later. Frank said, I started the Bin Laden doc last night. Surprisingly, there's no new information. That's crazy. I had no clue who Sabu was. He was his nephew, but also the Middle Eastern motif. I like Sabu. I thought he was a pretty good wrestler. A high flyer, if you want. I didn't realize how old he was. He was 61 years old. But anyway, in the Dark Side of the Ring, he's interviewed a shitload of times in there. Don't go in the garbage. Go lie down. Alice, go lie down. Was Sabu a jabroni? No, the Iron Sheik called everybody a jabroni. That's where The Rock got it from. A little trivia there for you. Iron Sheik would call everybody a jabroni, and that's when they started using it live. Did he ever wrestle Doink the Clown? I'm not really sure. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. This is gonna come as a surprise. I was never a Doink the Clown fan. My son. So I watched wrestling as a kid. Okay. As a very small child, I was like this big. Grew up watching wrestling in the 80s, late 70s into the 80s. Me and my brother, huge wrestling fans. We would watch it all the time. We had hundreds of VHS tapes that we would record every Georgia Championship Wrestling, every World Class Championship Wrestling from Texas. We would all of a sudden Madison Square Garden. They would have the live shows on MSG Network. I'm guessing MSG Network became the Yes Network. And every now and then we'd see something And we'd be like, well, Polynesian wrestling is on at 4 a.m. on Sunday, so we would get up at 4 a.m. and we would tape it. And that we'd never hardly ever watched WWE though. WWF, sorry. Once the Hulk thing happened, it was like, all right, it was like, I think I was like 14 then. I was like, nah. I liked all the independent. Me and my brother would go down to Collingswood Flea Market, which maybe is still there, I'm not sure. Frank can answer that one for me. And we would buy wrestling magazines, and he had all of the old wrestling magazines for 25 cents. And we would go maybe once a month, twice a month, we would go down. The guy who sold all the magazines, he had a huge section of wrestling magazines. Then he had a huge section of comic books. Then he had a huge section of paperback books. And then he had a whole section of porn. So my dad would go and spend like $50 on porn, which is a lot of porn back then. That guy always had the red box of the Swedish erotica. He would buy all the Swedish erotica videos. Eventually he got the whole set. And he would give me like $5 for comic books. And the comic books were like 25 cents each. And he would give my brother like $5 for wrestling magazines. And then my mother would be buying paperbacks. And I would like, can you buy me this Conan paperback? And then I would get paid. So it was great. And then I remember one time the guy had just gotten in this huge box of, it was like 250 wrestling magazines, all different, all from like the 60s and 70s. And he had this giant box, and he was just like, I gotta put all these out. And my dad's like, I'll give you $25 right now for the whole box. And he was like, all right. And me and my brother lugged this huge box of wrestling magazines. So we had, no lie, we had probably about 1,500 wrestling magazines. And what's great about all those shows is whenever they show a wrestling magazine, 90% chance we had that in our collection. Most of those disappeared. I think my mother got rid of them like an asshole. Which of Hillbilly Jim's inbred cousins were your favorite? I was not a Hillbilly Jim fan at all, or all that corny rockin' wrestling bullshit. Remember when they kept teasing Hillbilly Jim during Saturday broadcasts like he was just some guy who had ringside seats all the time? Best character introduction in the storyline ever. Ever. Was he inside or outside? There was so many guys. He was inside. He had a booth, and then he had across the hall, he had a huge section of books and stuff. But when you went into the little booth area that he was in, to the left was all the porn, and to the right was all the comic books and wrestling magazines. And then I remember at one point they had a fire. That place had, like, half of it had burned down. And then that guy lost, like, all of his stock. And then he had started over again. And I remember it was very sad because by then I was old enough, I was going in there and I was actually buying porn from him. And he didn't have a wide selection. I don't think Doink the Clown would have wrestled Sabu since they were in a different federations. Did your father learn to speak Swedish from all? Yes. Yes, he definitely did. I think Sabu was in, I don't know if he was in no, he was probably at WCW. Did Sabu ever wrestle Doink the Clown? No. Doink the Clown was a character in the WWE, while Sabu was primarily known for his time in extreme wrestling promotions like ECW. That's an excellent question, though, Nick. An excellent question. He was in WWE. I remember Sabu when the ECW, when they bought ECW. So interesting. So then my son was born in 96. And when he was in like 2001, by the time we got down to Florida, his mother was a huge wrestling fan. When we started dating, she was a huge wrestling fan. So I watched it a little bit in the mid 90s with her, but really couldn't get into it. And then he got into it like big time. So then we went to some local promotions together and we bonded over wrestling. But I love watching all those rivalry shows and the Dark Side of the Ring shows, all that stuff. Phenomenal. I am going to tell you, Nick, in June, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, Skinwalker Ranch is back, new season. What guys did you like? Back in the day, who did I like? My brother was a huge Ric Flair fan. Huge. I loved the Road Warriors. I thought they were phenomenal. When I would watch... so then I started... a buddy of mine, Mo, would tape trade. I was doing bootleg concert tape trading. He was doing bootleg wrestling. Like, people would tape... Like, they're in Alabama and they're taping... whatever show from Alabama, and then they would send VHS tapes back and forth. So any match he could get of the Spoiler, which is the masked wrestler that used the claw, he was my favorite, and Lord Humongous, who was, I think, became Sid Vicious or something. One of those people. Now I'm going to look that up. Lord Humongous, he did the whole Mad Max thing. He was in Memphis Continental Wrestling in '84. The original was presented by Mike Stark. Wore a hockey mask, obviously. Yeah, Sid Vicious was one of them. So I was a big fan of the Road Warriors. Though I loved watching the Road Warriors. And then I was a Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez fan with World Class Championship Wrestling. I like the Freebirds. I like mostly the bad guys. The Bushwhackers. Yeah, those guys when they were the New Zealand sheep herders. I like them. I also like in World Class, the Dingo Warrior, who became the Ultimate Warrior in WWF. I liked him better before he went absolutely insane and crazy. We used to watch a lot of was it World Class? Something or other. It was the Puerto Rican ones with King Kong Brody and those guys. And that. My favorite was when Jesse Ventura would call Tito Santana Chico Santana. Like, somehow that wasn't it. Yeah, exactly. He was just so dismissive. That's pretty funny. It's stupidly childish. The best Dark Side of the Ring, I don't know if you saw the Tony Atlas one yet. Tony Atlas' real name? Tony White. He apparently, I'm going to ruin it for you. This is a spoiler, so pause me or mute me for the next minute. His fetish was he liked girls step on his face with sneakers, not high heels. Like that weird fetish, like dudes like, oh, step on my nuts with 6-inch stilettos kind of thing. No, he liked girls in just sneakers. find that really, really fucking odd. I like Paul Orndorff. I like Paul Orndorff and Greg the Hammer Valentine as a tag team. I like those guys. David Schultz was all right. He was all right. Love watching Jimmy Superfly Snuka killing women. Wrestling. We went in 1984 to the Meadowlands Arena to see wrestling. And it just so happened, you buy the tickets months in advance. It just so happened to be the night that the Detroit Tigers won the World Series. My dad's a Tigers fan, so he actually never got to sit home and see them clinching it. They announced it. That was Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, and Andre the Giant. I don't know. It was Hogan and Slaughter versus the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov was the main event. And it was played on Madison Square Garden Network. And in that match, because of course my mother was home watching it, because those were live back in the day, and they would play those. And in that match, at one point the camera came, and me and my brother, I was like 14, he was like 12 or 13, we were yelling, USA, USA, USA! And they got a shot of us, my mother said. David Schultz was the one who beat the crap out of that one reporter, John Stossel. I always think that was Geraldo Rivera, but it was just some knockoff Geraldo Rivera guy. Yeah. Yeah, John Stossel. Another New York guy who was full of himself. Classic. Just classic. We also went and saw in the Meadowlands Arena when the AWA and NWA had a joint card together. And so that was, I think it was Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes was the main event. I did love my wrestling when I was a teenager because I couldn't get laid. No girl was looking at this dork with a weird mustache and giant glasses and a friggin' mullet. Nope. It was just me and my first love, wrestling. Yep, Nature Boy versus the American Dream. Yep. It was a title defense for Ric Flair, but Dusty Rhodes won, but by disqualification. So the title did not change. I also believe that in that bout there was Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels wrestled, I think, against the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette as their manager, walking around with his tennis racket. Oh, easily Iron Mike Sharp. I loved Iron Mike Sharp. Load the glove up. Rene Goulet was just an old, boring guy. I remember going to see up in I want to say Avenel, somewhere up there, at a high school. Me and my brother went, my dad and my uncle, Kenny, we went, and the Road Warriors were the main event, and they just squashed a couple of local guys, like literally just ran in and beat the crap out of them for like a minute, and it was done. But Luna Vachon was there. And as ugly as she was and as crazy looking, I just remember being like 13 or 14 years old and going, holy crap, she's got a gorgeous ass. Gorgeous. We also went up there in Rahway, Avenel, somewhere, to a doctor's office because the women's world champion, Wendy Richter, was there signing autographs. And somewhere is a Polaroid of me and my brother with Wendy Richter. I don't know if anybody still has that. I wonder if Jim Cornette is any good at tennis. You know what? He might be. My wife loves when we watch those because she's like, he would be so much fun to hang out with. Like he just is like he just says what's on his mind. I said, yeah, he probably would be a lot of fun to hang out with. Rene Goulet had something in his trunks, right? I would imagine. Either powder or for we went another. Yeah. His brother, well, who was his brother? I forget what his brother's name was. There's another Goulet because they were French Canadian. They were a tag team. So many great wrestlers. So little time. They all end up with brain damage. I'm taking too many chair shots. Hooray, Goulet. I believe that's who it is. Goulet. Here's my brother Yule Goulet. No way, Goulet. Ingve Goulet. That's a good one. I wonder how Ingve's doing these days, you know? Excuse me. Goodness. I had like the sirloin chunky soup, you know, with the little sirloins in it. Oh, it's delicious. There's your next character name. There you go. I'll ruin the book me and Tom are writing by having somebody with that name. This weekend I will not be on. I might even take a couple days off. Depending on when my wife goes over to her mom's. She normally will spend Saturday or Sunday at her mom's. And I've been trying to do better with keeping the house clean because she's been so busy. Doing laundry. The dishes got done this morning. Garbage has been going out on time. Recycling even went out. I mean, crazy stuff. Ingve Goulet is the book up. Fucks the book up, but Special Agent McEdler doesn't. No! That's a classic character. Someday you'll see an entire series of Agent McEdler. Ingve is still touring down in South America. So is everybody else. Or as some kid, we were in that record store in Hazlitt one time back in the day. And these two douchebags were in there with their brand new concert shirts they got at the mall. And back then you didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? You went to a concert. You're wearing a Metallica t-shirt, you got that. You overspent it was like $15 at the Metallica show. You know what I'm saying? They were wearing their brand new shirts, and the one kid picked up. He's like, "Oh, I heard all about this guy, Wyingwe." And it was the Trilogy album. He says, he's like, "I'll buy Triology, and you get this one. This is Fleetism and Jetism. These guys are really good." I'm like, you're saying every word wrong. Like, every word wrong. Fleetism and Jetism. I haven't heard Wyingwe in a long time, though. I'm not really a big fan of songs without lyrics or singing. Like, instrumentals are alright, but I'm not putting on that first couple of Ingve albums when it's just fucking instrumentals. My buddy Russ, Madman, Russ Meyer, he would buy, he would, huge fan of Ingve and stuff, and he would buy, Wyingwe, yeah. He would buy, the Alcatraz albums and, Steeler bootlegs, you know, because Ron Keel was singing it, but Ingve was playing, or Steve Vai was playing in those bands. He would buy all of that crap. And I was like, these are all bad. None of these are good. Faster runs kill, exactly. Good times, you know what I'm saying? Good times. So, hopefully this afternoon Tom will write another chapter. If he does, I'll knock it off this weekend. If not, I'll just wait until Monday. No rush on that. I think Fast Pussy has a new album coming out soon, or came out. Who can say? Who can say? I think even those guys don't even know if a new album came out or not. I just like once or twice a week I turn on Spotify to listen to some music, and then I'm like listening to new songs, and I'm like, oh, I guess they have a new album out, or they're just all these bands are just releasing a single. This is the best you can come up with. It's called "Get Off My Boat." Too soon. Too soon. That would be a boss move, though, right? If like that was their next song, it'd be like it had nothing to do with that. I rewrote that years ago. No, good times. Anybody got any big plans for this weekend? Nick, you gonna blow up? You gonna blow up the park? Frank, you got a book signing coming up? You keep posting stuff. I'm almost giving up on book signings. It's too much work. I got invited to another one, and I'm like, nah. Oh, it's an outside event in a parking lot. Oh, pavement. Yet no. Nick says, I may go out tomorrow for the treasure. We had big storms yesterday, so the ground will be too wet. Or not dry. So you get a thing. You get a metal thing and you poke shit. Eat some cereal, Frank. Is that Saturday and Sunday or just one of those days? I don't eat cereal anymore. My wife always buys cereal. I don't drink milk. Nah, I'm not doing that one. Just promoting for a friend. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you'd posted something. Figured you and JC would do it. I have a metal poking thing. If the ground is too wet, then my camera gets muddied up. Oh. Oh. Keep forgetting you're a professional. Keep forgetting. Alright. I'm going to wrap this crap up. Get some stuff done. First poke, then camera. Just like the Swedish film. Exactly. Exactly. Swedish erotica. Look that up. I don't know how many. I'm going to look that up right now. He literally had the entire series. See, it's taking me to actual porn. I don't want to look at porn. That's not it. Here's the movie database. That's not right. It says there's 21 movies, but there was way more than that. Well, I do recognize these covers. I dabbled myself looking at them. Right here. So here we... keep going. Let's keep going. Keep going. Keep it going. '95, '96, '97, '98, '99, 100, 102. 102. Swedish porn in the red box. Yeah. Although these later ones in the 100s were not. Yeah, they still had the red box. Classics. Now all my feeds will be flooded with porn. Yeah. Anyway, so he had a bookshelf, like a cabinet. He closed the cabinet, but when he opened it in the garage, there was all of them. And I remember he'd have holes. He would put he'd have 1 through 15, and then 16 was missing. So you'd have 17, whatever, and he had a little notebook where we'd have the numbers. That's my dad, collector. Then we would go to the flea market. We go to the dirt mall, or we would go to Collinswood Flea Market, and we would or Route 18 Flea Market. And my dad would always have his little checklist with him. Great stuff, great stuff. Anyway, speaking of Swedish erotica, I will see everybody on Monday. Monday is Monday. I believe it's Monday. Yeah, for certain. Stop jerking my jerk. Exactly. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Don't eat too much cereal. Don't be sticking your metal thing in the ground if it's too wet. Words of wisdom.